So in this lesson, we're going to talk about Mark. Mark is a decent golfer, somebody who is trying to become the best version of himself. And what we're trying to do is effectively release the club like a professional golfer. And that's what I'm going to share with you first. So the reason why I designed the little hipstick trainer was because the students that I work with, that were trying to understand how to move, I wanted them to be able to get a real strong sense of feedback for what you're looking for. So the idea here is, let me switch that alignment stick for a second, is if I position my hip stick, okay, so if you guys, just so you can see, you can always copy it, or they're available obviously on the website. The hip stick goes like so, pretty much just over the left belt loop, and it starts at a 45-degree angle. Okay, now what I'm going to do now is I'm going to position this vertical stick, okay, on my heel line, right? And the idea is, by the time you get to the delivery position, which is when the club's parallel, the stick should strike the stick, if you want a professional type release. And this is kind of what me and Mark have been exploring. You see, if I swing up to the top and I move my arms to the side of my body like so, you can see how far away my hands are. The reason why we notice that the pros' hands end up covering the ball so much is because they're maximizing two things. They're maximizing separation, lower body, whilst holding on to external. That's why a pro hits it so far. Now, the reason why that's relevant is because as you start the downswing, you've got to be able to obviously do this sort of 90 degrees worth of hip rotation from the top of the backswing to when the club's parallel. And the thing that's going to help you do that, this is what I was working on with Mark, is you've got to make sure that in the backswing position, you're turning into the leg. Okay, now what was happening with Mark is he was sort of producing a backswing position where the right leg would straighten, and it was encouraging too much hip rotation, to the point where then he can't get back, okay, and it looks a little clumsy. So what we really worked on was this feeling of turning the pelvis into the leg and keeping that right leg flexed. And what this is essentially is a state of internal hip rotation. So if you bring your right foot in front of you and turn it in, turn the pelvis into the leg, you'll feel an activation inside your glute due to the internal hip rotation. The point is you'll then find it much easier to use that right side to pull the left hip back. If you're someone who has a tendency to sort of turn everything together, you might get back, but you're never going to get back anywhere near enough. And that's why it's important to keep that trail leg flexed as you rotate into it in the backswing position. Need any help with the game? Head over to the website. I'll see you soon.